I love this game. I love this game.
Glory Road, 2006, starring Josh Lucas. Welcome back to Streetball Strategies basketball movie reviews. Glory Road is the story of Coach Don Haskins, who is a girls' high school basketball coach in the 1960s. He gets the opportunity to coach at Texas Western, which is a Division I basketball school. And when he gets there, he only has 5 remaining players on his team. So he has to go and recruit players the same way that all coaches usually do when they are recruiting players for their teams. The problem is, because he has such a small school, and because people are aware that last season he was a high school basketball girls coach, a lot of people don't take him seriously, and it's hard for him to recruit good players. So from that point on, he kind of travels around the country trying to recruit good players that will actually give him a chance.
Excuse me. I'm the basketball coach down at Texas Western. I'd like to talk to you about playing for me there.
Thanks, but no thanks. I'm done playing this game. Holly put me on the floor tonight.
And he ends up recruiting 7 black players. The reason this is special is because at that time in the 60s, most teams were either all white, or if they did have a black player, they had 1, maybe 2 at most. And now Coach Haskins at Texas Western has 7 black players on his team.
Are you gonna let a black player play from the get-go?
I don't see color. I see quick, I see skill, and that's what you have. And that's what I'm putting on the court.
This causes a lot of racial unrest, especially as the team goes forward and becomes more and more successful throughout their season. Glory Road is very reminiscent of another favorite movie of mine, another Disney film known as Training Day. No, wait. No, not Training Day.
So where's the office, back at Division? You're in the office, baby. Going up.
Definitely not Training Day.
Today's a training day, Officer Hoyt. Show you around, give you a taste of the business, you know?
Where did that come from? Wow. Glory Road is very reminiscent of Remember the Titans, also by Disney. They're very similar. They use the same formula to tell the same kind of story, and they both do it very well. It's a very good formula to be using. But Remember the Titans is about a black coach for a high school team, whereas Glory Road is about a white coach for a Division I college team. But they're both about racial segregation and integration and discrimination, and they both tell their stories very well. The acting in Glory Road is done very solidly. I was very happy about that because, as I've talked about with the other movies on this list, a lot of basketball movies have to choose between, do you have good actors or good athletes? And Disney films always do a good job when it comes to their sports movies about having a good balance of good acting and good players, good athletes in their movies, and this movie is no exception. The acting is done very well, and the basketball is done very competently. It looks very skillful, and it has to, because this is a Division I college. Even though they're small, they're still playing Division I NCAA basketball, and so not only does the acting have to be good to make this a good movie, but the basketball playing has to be believable. It has to be good quality basketball where the skill and ability comes through, not just in the acting but also in the basketball skill, and it does that very well. All the players look like they know what they're doing. They all look like they have basketball skill on a college level, and even the 7 recruited black players who maybe were not on a college basketball course, they still have the skill to play at that level. And what's good about this movie, if you're a hardcore sort of basketball studier like I am, what you notice is the 5 white players on the team are very traditional, fundamental, kind of college-esque skill basketball players, whereas the 7 black recruited players from around the country, they're more up-tempo players with a more of a playground style to their game, and it's just a nice nuance to sort of notice throughout the movie that's implemented in the way they play, and I thought that was very well done in this movie. So is Glory Road a good movie? Yeah, it definitely is. It's family friendly. Everyone in the family can watch this movie and enjoy it. You don't have to be a hardcore basketball fan to love this movie. You can be very casual at best and still enjoy this movie. The story of the racial integration and segregation and discrimination, all of that is done really well. The acting is good, the basketball is good. It's just an enjoyable movie that tells a good story. There's some humor worked in here and there, and the soundtrack is really good, and it's just overall a good movie. Did the film accomplish what it was trying to do? Well, the film is based on Don Haskins' book of the same name, which I haven't read, but after watching this movie, it makes me curious to read his book and get more detailed into that story. But it did tell the story of this team and how they dealt with becoming successful and having on-court success while all of the off-court racial tension is taking place. They told that story very well, and because of that, they did succeed in what they were trying to do, and they did it in a very entertaining, quality way. For my money, I still prefer Remember the Titans over this movie. I would probably watch Remember the Titans 9 times out of 10 over this movie, but that's not to say anything negative about Glory Road. It's just Remember the Titans is very similar to this movie, and it's a classic, and for whatever reason, the characters or the story, Remember the Titans just resonates with me deeper than this movie does, even though Remember the Titans is a football movie, whereas Glory Road is a basketball movie. They both use the same formula to tell very similar kind of stories. I just think that overall, Remember the Titans is a better movie than Glory Road is. But it still holds its own. It's still a very good movie. Should you see it? Should you watch it? Should you experience it? Not necessarily from a basketball standpoint, even though the basketball play is done well and competently. This isn't a movie that I would personally use as to sort of being hyped up to get out here on the court and play. It is inspirational. It's just not really sort of, it doesn't really get your blood pumping to sort of get on the court, at least for me. But as where Remember the Titans is about a high school team, Glory Road is about a college team, Division I, playing in the NCAA tournament. And what happens in that movie, especially the coaching decision that goes into the very end game at the end of the movie, it has much more real-world consequences as opposed to what happens in Remember the Titans, them playing for a state championship. Glory Road, NCAA tournament, Division I school, what happens in that movie, the way it translates and has an effect on today's sort of real-world basketball game, I think that is something that you should see and be aware of, and watching this movie will help you to do that. And because of that, you should definitely check this movie out and have a better understanding of why today's game is the way it is, partly because of probably the way this team existed and how they played the game. Also, a side note, there's a couple speeches that Josh Lucas gives in this movie as Coach Haskins they're very inspirational. They are very inspiring.
What do you want to do? You want to quit?
They're trying to take our dignity away from us.
Your dignity's inside you. Nobody can take something away from you you don't give them.
Especially kind of halfway through the movie, he's talking to a player one-on-one as he's having that player run the bleachers, and he gives this speech about how he loves the game and how he wants to sort of play the game the right way and respect the game, and it's very inspirational. It's one of the best sort of basketball inspirational movie speeches, maybe the best one I've ever seen.
I love this game. I love this game. I never was the greatest player, but I busted my butt, and I outworked better players. I ain't the smartest coach, but I bust my butt, and I outwork smarter coaches. And when I see the talent you got, and I see you wasting it, it ticks me off.
Taking all of that into account, I'm going to give Glory Road a B+. It's a good movie. There's nothing that you can sort of complain about in this movie. Everything's good. The acting is good. The basketball is good. The way it's presented to us is good. Especially for me, the first half of the movie is about the love of basketball. That's probably what I love most about this movie, is that the first half of the movie is all about the love of the game of basketball, presented mostly by Coach Haskins and how he loves the game and how he's trying to build a team to play the game the right way. And I was very happy to see that, because in a movie like this that's dealing with such heavy themes as well as basketball, it could have been much more about the racial integration of the players and the team, trying to integrate and win and be a successful team despite all of their controversy. It could have spent a lot more time on all of the off-court kind of problems that the team was facing.
Maybe you thought we could just waltz our way in the damn tournament.
Maybe these crackers is getting to us.
Why you looking at me, Bobby Joe?
You a cracker, ain't you?
Instead, while there is definitely an emphasis on that, the first half of the movie especially is very much about the game and the love of the game and playing and learning the game the right way. The first half of the movie revolves sort of around this coach trying to build the right team the right way to play the right style of basketball to love and respect the game. And I really, really loved and appreciated that about this movie. That being said, like I said earlier, it being so closely resembling Remember the Titans, and the fact that that movie just does this better. It's very difficult to elevate Glory Road to the level of an A when there's a movie that's very reminiscent of the same theme, when there's that movie that exists that just does it better. It just resonates more. It's just a better overall movie. It's hard to put Glory Road on the level of an A when it's not quite as good as the A-level football equivalent in this genre. And that's not to say anything bad about Glory Road. It's just one of those movies where everything is done really good. It's just not great. And because of that, I can't take it up to an A level. It's close, it's just not quite great. There's nothing quite great about the way the movie was made. It's a great story, just the way it's presented isn't quite great. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this review, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel as well, because that really helps me out. And hit that notification bell so you're notified of the rest of the movies on this Esquire.com Best Basketball Movie list. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review.
We East champs, dog, get it right. Trust you wanna play, bring your ball and your nights, let's go.